So this week we turn our attention to Mary. In the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 26, in the 6th month of Elizabeth's pregnancy, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a village in Galilee, to a virgin named Mary. She was engaged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of King David. We see a couple of things here about Mary, things that we may not understand simply because we live in the 21st century instead of first century Palestine. Marriage and betrothal then was very different from what it is now, and we should certainly not assume that the things that we think would happen around a couple becoming engaged and then married is what was true of Joseph and Mary. It wasn't true at all. First of all, the engagement, the betrothal, really, and this may sound strange, it doesn't have much to do with love. It doesn't have much to do with a boy and a girl dating and determining that they love each other and so become engaged. What betrothal and marriage was in first century Palestine was primarily an arrangement between two fathers. The decision was not so much Joseph and Mary's decision as it was a decision between Joseph's father and Mary's father. The fathers got together, determined that these two young people were well suited to each other, that it would be beneficial for them to become married. Mary would have been somewhere between 12 and 15 years old. Life expectancy in first century Palestine, because of the high infant mortality rate, was in the 20s, late 20s. So things took place a lot quicker. Once a girl showed signs of adulthood, she was marriable and frequently married right around that age. Joseph, the boy, would have been from 13 to 18 years old. The determining factor for the boy is that he has completed his apprenticeship with his father and is now able to open business for himself. And that took place also very, very young, at least by our standards. So the fathers got together, decided that these two young people should be married. At that point, the groom's father, Joseph's father, provides a mohar for the bride's father. This is not a purchase. The mohar is considered a gift, considered a legally binding arrangement that's made between the two fathers. This is sealed with a betrothal ceremony. The mohar is given in the betrothal ceremony. And at that point, the young man goes out and begins building the home that they will live in. When he has finished the home, there is then a wedding ceremony. Now, Mary's pregnancy occurs after the mohar has been paid, but before the home was completed, so it's somewhere during the betrothal. And that's why when Joseph is convinced that Mary has betrayed him, has cheated on him, he decides to divorce her privately. That would have involved receiving the mohar back for his father to have then to provide someone else for Joseph. If Joseph had been the one who had betrayed Mary, the mohar would have been forfeit. The girl would have kept it, or the girl's father would have. At the end of the time, there's then a wedding ceremony. Now we see something very similar in the Old Testament, Genesis chapter 29. Jacob goes to Laban. He is working for Laban for about a month. Laban says, no, you deserve to be paid. You're a relative, yes, but let me pay you. Jacob says, my father is not here to deal with you, so let me deal with you directly. I want to marry Rachel, your daughter. And the mohar that Jacob offered to Laban was 7 years of labor. Very similar sort of a situation. Sometimes the mohar was indeed services rendered. More frequently, it was a price that was paid. Mary and Joseph were betrothed, preparing for wedding, for marriage. The expectation was that as they married, indeed during the betrothal, and especially during the marriage, love would grow. Love was not a precursor of the wedding. It was the result of the betrothal and wedding. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll see a little bit more about who this young girl Mary really is.